You may not know. You see this hair? This is a lot of hair. I did a big chop during the pandemic.
I remember when I started really making a lot of money and my eyes were turned off of God for 1 second. And I remember the dangling carrot.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Women Speak Show. I am your host, Danielle Jeter, holding it down for the #1 sisterhood in the industry, Women in Media Global. I'm excited about this episode. We have an expert coming onto the show, and I'm talking about someone who has been in the entertainment business for 20 years. You want to make sure you keep it locked and loaded right here for this new episode. But before I bring my guest onto the show, you know I always start with a topic just to share more about who I am to you all. You may not know. You see this hair? This is a lot of hair. I did a big chop during the pandemic, y'all. I'm talking about a big chop. Like, it was low. It was like a little fro. And if you tuned into our previous episode, it's called $100 in a Dream. It talks about my transition to Miami and how I got here. During my transition into Miami from Philadelphia, I went to the salon. I was looking for a stylist. I was like, I need to get my hair trimmed. We know during the pandemic, hair was like, what am I doing with it? How can I manage it? How can I get it done? And I really got into wearing my hair natural, being in the heat, in the water here in Florida. So I found someone that was recommended to me, and I went to get a trim because I was doing these twist outs and braid outs, but my ends were real straggly. So I was like, dang, I think I need to get a trim, and this look would look much better on me. She was like, girl, no, you need to just do a big chop and start all over. And she really convinced me to do it, and I cut my hair all off. Like, literally, it was low. So that is one thing about me y'all didn't know. I'm gonna come back with the full story on that, but now I guess 3 years later it has grown back out, all of it, pretty much. Not to the length of what it was. Like, my hair was like down my back, probably a little bit below the middle of my back. It's almost at that point, but I'm proud of the growth, and I was able to grow my hair back out with what they call crochet. I had the crochet look going on. So that is a little bit about me that y'all didn't know. All right, so I told you we have an expert on the show, and I'm excited to introduce her right now. Ashaala Shanae is an expert celebrity vocal health coach with over 20 years of experience in public speaking, entertainment, and media industries. She's also a singer, songwriter, international speaker, and founder of Vocal Wall Street. Ashaala has worked with so many Grammy-winning artists like Betty Wright, Patti LaBelle, Yolanda and Erica Campbell of Mary Mary. She's also been a vocal development consultant for record labels like Universal, Sony Latin, and Peer Music. Ashaala has made so many amazing guest appearances, such as the Grammys, CBS, and NPR, and she has collaborated with high-earning entertainment entrepreneurs like Rick Ross. She's dedicated to empowering creatives through her work and advocacy with LOVESTRUCK, Inc., a 501c3 organization. So when I told y'all we bring in somebody legit to the show, I wasn't lying. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So you do a lot,
yeah,
and I know that's by choice. But tell me, like, what do you love to do? Like, in your business life and your personal life, what's those things that you really love doing?
Really and truly, every day I get up living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. I believe that all of us are born with purpose, but not all of us are living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. And so for me, I have to know my why. I have to know, why am I getting up every day? And so for me, my goal is to push people into their purpose using their literal and figurative voice. So their literal voice that we have, but the figurative voice, which is their purpose, their reason for being. So professionally, that's been my goal, and paying it forward in mentorship and coaching as well. And then personally, I like to do a lot of stuff. Like, I like to jump off a yacht. I like to brunch. I like to go to the beach. I like to listen to music. I like a good laugh with my friends. I like spending time with my family. I like playing pool. I like to do a lot of different things. Yeah.
So one of the things I love about living in South Florida is we get to go on yachts, and I meet so many dope people on those boats. And I think one of the first times we met was on Nehemiah Davis. He had a yacht like 2 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that's how we first met.
So. Shout out to Neo Davis, by the way. Neo was doing a mastermind in Miami. and I was there, and I think that's where I met you. And then there was a yacht party, like I don't know if it's an all white yacht party, but I think that's where we actually were introduced. Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. We didn't jump off that day.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if we even swam that day.
No. That was not for the party.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ashaala, tell us something about you that most people don't know.
Ooh, something about me that most people don't know. I really, really, really love, when I tell you I love mission work, I do. So I used to take care of about 40 orphans in Haiti. And I think I'm more Haitian than my Haitian friends, because I visited Haiti, at least I used to go like 4 times a year.
Oh, yeah, you're serious.
And I just didn't want to be a philanthropist. I actually wanted to see where the money was going.
Right.
But I also wanted to spend time with the kids, and I'm very like down to earth. So when I go there, and when I've been there, I haven't been there since, of course, all the political upheaval, but I sleep on the floor with the kids. I bathe with the cold water on the outside. I eat from the food outside. Like, I wanted to be in there. And so mission work is a passion of mine. And a lot of people may not know that about me.
So that's something people can't find out about you on Instagram?
No, because I don't really talk much about it.
Got you.
I've talked about it ever so often, but it's not something I highlight every day of my life, no.
So when I was reading your bio, you know, it stated that you are a multi 7-figure earner. Your company has made multiple 7 figures. So if you are looking for some business advice, a coach, somebody who done did it and has done it successfully, you're going to want to make sure that you tune in and tap into everything Ashaala has going on. So with that being said, with the 7 figures that you've made, with all of that success, one of the things I love about you is your heart for giving back. And that's one of the ways that we also initially connected, because you gifted tickets to some of your mentees to attend a mastermind session that I had. And then I've seen you be on panels where you were coaching and pitching, helping people who were pitching their business. You were like a judge. So I love that about you. And I think it's amazing that when people find levels of success, you know, and you're not even like a P. Diddy level of success, but you are a successful Black business owner in our community, and you still find time to donate and give back. So I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Believe it or not, Jeter, and I'll say this, you'll find in life that people that have a lot of money still don't feel satisfied and fulfilled. And that's the reason why the giving component, the philanthropist component, things like that is what really satisfied people. So when you look at people like a Steve Jobs, or you look at people that had a lot of money, but at the end of the day, like Steve Jobs says, listen, I really can't go down in the grave with that. I believe that when you give back, it does something to the spirit of you that money will, it's fulfilling, that money will never be able to satisfy. And so for me as a giver, you know, I'm a believer, and for me, God is the giver of everything, and I have to give it back, right? It's imperative that I do. So absolutely.
I love that about you. Yes.
Thank you.
Definitely. So before we dive more into our conversation for today, we have to touch on some major news that just dropped and developed in the media industry. We all know P. Diddy, right, has been in the spotlight for allegations of sexual assault, physical abuse, and as a result, he recently sold his majority stake in Revolt, the media company he founded over a decade ago to really give Black entrepreneurs, Black people, Black brands more visibility on TV. And so now Revolt's biggest shareholders are the employees. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that is such a significant shift in the media industry. So I saw in an interview the CEO, Mr. Samuels, he was speaking to Hollywood Reporter, and he revealed that, you know, the larger part of the company, the ownership of the company is now being led by its employees. And I love being in PR because the PR was ran by a young lady who is on the Revolt's team who I actually know. And so when that post dropped, I actually got the news first from her on her Instagram. But I thought to myself, wow, like that's a decent shift. It was like whatever they were doing in the background, they really took the opportunity to flip it on its head. So I want to know, you have 20 years of experience in media entertainment. You might have crossed paths with Sean Combs, but you know, what are your thoughts on his decision to sell his majority stake?
I think it was very strategic. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Diddy, now this is just me. I'm not saying this, okay? But if I were Diddy, I think that is probably one of the most strategic moves he could have made, because he could still be an employee of his company.
I haven't thought about it.
And he can still, because he's no longer the CEO. He's no longer, but he may be an employee. So you never know if he still has some sort of silent shares in the company as an employee.
So we don't know that information.
We don't know that information. I think that move that was made was a very strategic move that billionaire would be involved in. I definitely know that. So I know Sean Combs' hand is somewhere in there. Now, this is just me, all right, from just a business strategy standpoint. And of course, our companies, one of the biggest things we want to do is not to be in the company, right? After a while, we don't know if the company was up under a holding company, up under a trust. We don't know anything like that, right? True. So because of that, I really do believe that Diddy's hands are not really out of it. I think Diddy was smart to have smart people on his team to know how to maneuver around that.
I love that you brought this perspective, because now I'm thinking differently, like, maybe I want to dig in a little bit more. So how do you feel as if this is going to impact the media industry? He was such a major figure.
Yeah.
He is a major figure. Billionaire with a B.
I think what's happening right now in 2024, I think Cat Williams have said it well. It is the year of exposure. It is the year of revelation. It's the year of exposure. And I believe what's happening right now, there's a shift in the media industry for accountability, and especially accountability for the people that have probably thought that they were untouchable, right? So I think that's really the shift that's happening. It's not necessarily business per se,
right?
It's more character and moral accountability. And I think that's necessary. I think it's a necessity, even coming back to the media and even how women have been perceived in the media. There's a lot of people coming out now, even when it came to, the whole situation, will believe a woman the first time when she says something has happened. We have seen in Black entertainment how women have been, objectified in many different ways, from even back in the day when we were having all these videos, the video stuff on I can't remember all of them, the 106 and Parks and all of those different things like that. So I think what's happening in the media right now is you're seeing a level of accountability, and people are literally standing 10 toes down and saying, hey, listen, I don't care how much money you have. You can be wealthy with money, and you can be a deficit and bankrupt in character and morale. And so I think that's what's happening.
I was having a conversation about this with my mom, and she brought it back biblical.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know if I would ever want to be wealthy, because the Bible talks about how difficult it is for wealthy people to make it into heaven, and how, like you said, with morals, with treating people right, like at the end of the day, it's going to be revealed. God said that it's going to come to light. What's done in the dark will come to light.
Absolutely.
So think about what you're doing in the dark. Okay.
And I can relate to that, because I share with my mentees, I shared with them, and I'm very transparent. I think one of the greatest characteristics that a leader can have is vulnerability. And with vulnerability, there has to be transparency. So because of that, I shared with them, even when I started making a lot of money. I remember when I started really making a lot of money, and my eyes were turned off of God for 1 second. And I remember the dangling carrot, right? In front of you. And I remember God literally sitting me down and saying, hey, listen, no, we're a package deal. And at the end of the day, I am the giver of wealth. I am the epitome of wealth. So at the end of the day, you cannot say that you are wealthy without me. I think what happens is a lot of people get the dangling carrot, and they kind of forget how they started. And sometimes God has to either do a humbling experience for you. He's not a petty God, but sometimes he'll have to bring you back around to be like, hey. And that's what happened with me. So now in my business, and especially my mentorship, before we get on coaching calls, we pray.
Yeah, I love that.
We start off with that. We end with it. I'm not ashamed.
And I'm sure that attract people to you as well. They're like, I love that about her. I want to work with her because she's God-fearing.
Absolutely. You'll be surprised, because people are attracted to authenticity. We've seen so much fake stuff out here that people, but you have to still be discerning, because there's a lot of people that use God, to get wealth as well. I know a couple
Deceiving.
People. So I think people at this time in our lives and where we are now are really starting to sift out what's real and what's not.
I agree. So Revolt has been a significant platform for Black representation in media, especially with shows like Drink Champs and the Jason Lee Show, and also Carisha Please is also on Revolt. So how important do you think platforms like Revolt are for emerging artists and public figures, and what challenges do you think they face in maintaining their credibility and impact in light of such controversies?
I think it was, again, strategic, I'm going to use this word again, for them to actually remove Diddy off of that, just because of the question that you asked. But I do believe that Revolt, I've been there, I've seen it. My godmother, the late Betty Wright, used to be a part of that all the time. Her and Sean were very, very close. She was the vocal coach that did Make in the Band, and she was
I guess y'all are close, calling him Sean.
Diddy, right? She was the one that vocal trained.
Diddy?
No, Betty Wright.
She vocal trained?
She vocal trained making up with the whole Making the Band,
Oh,
Day
Making the
26 and
Band.
Danity Kane. So the reason why I say that is because I've seen how Revolt has created platforms that we as Black people, Black and brown people, would not really get. I think what needs to happen is with Revolt now saying, okay, where are we now with this, and how do we, I wouldn't say save face for things, but what do we need to do to highlight? So this is what I would say to that. There's gonna need to be some platform that highlights doing damage control based off of things that even in the Diddy situation, because think about this, on Carisha Please, the young lady who is the person that is the partner of Diddy said that she did golden showers. She did an episode with Trina. Now that all of
what
this
is
is
a
coming
golden shower?
Yeah, no.
Am I in the cave?
I think you are.
Let me go look up that episode. He said I'm in the cave.
So golden showers is like the R. Kelly thing when you urinate on someone during sexual intercourse.
So she did that to Diddy, or Diddy did that
she
to
didn't,
her?
and she did not say that it was with Diddy, but she says that she likes golden showers. It was
She likes people to urinate on her.
She said she likes golden. So she said it with Trina. She was interviewing Trina on the show. But here the reason,
I heard about that.
Right. So the reason why I'm saying that is because
It's not a golden shower.
she had to go back now and completely redact that statement because of what's happening right now. But it was done on Revolt. So I think now, coming back to accountability and a responsibility, I think it would be the most responsible thing for Revolt right now to create a platform for women, especially with domestic violence, especially with things like this, to do some damage control. I do believe that there needs to be a narrative for women to really have a voice more than just what pop culture wants, but to really go and dive and dig deeper into some of the things, entrepreneurship, media, entertainment. But I think we have a responsibility to go deeper. And I hope that Revolt gets to that place to do that.
Well, the great thing about Women in Media Global is that is exactly one of the reasons I founded this organization. And it was through experiences that I began to collect of women in the industry before Me Too happened. It was like we were simmering up to it, and I felt something. And it's so interesting. I feel like if you are so on purpose and do what you can to be in tune with God, He's going to guide you. And He had guided me to Women in Media, and then Me Too happened. And so the reason I started it was because, hey, I want to remind women to own their voice. I want to remind women and provide opportunity for women to be at the table and not on the menu. So we have ownership, we have equal pay, and we can advocate for what we need, who we are. And then it happened again during the pandemic. Before the pandemic happened, I didn't know what was happening, but God started moving my business and started downsizing. And thank God things happened the way it did, because I didn't have to give a sorry email or a sorry phone call to be like, hey, all of our events are wiped off the books. I'm not gonna be able to employ you anymore. We don't have an opportunity here for you anymore. But it just started to slowly move itself. And I think it's because God was guiding me into the place that He needed me to be in. But that's deep.
Well, I believe sometimes in order to size up, you got to size down. A lot of people, there is this analogy of the tree, right? Like pruning. In order for a tree to bear more fruit, you have to prune it.
Yeah.
And for us, every season is our season in entrepreneurship.
Every season is our season?
Every season is our season. So that was your season to downsize.
Yeah.
Because there was a teachable moment there. See what I'm saying? It doesn't say that you were not successful. It was just, as a matter of fact, you would have been less successful if you didn't.
Right.
So what you did was you operated in wisdom. That's success. Because there's a lot of people that are in entrepreneurship and they do not lead or CEO wisely. They don't know when to shift. They don't know when to downsize. They don't know when to pivot. So at the end of the day, every season is our season. And so I believe that in order for you to really size back up, you had to size down to pivot, to know what needs to be adjusted so that you can be harvest in the area where you're now called to.
I think that's true. Yeah. Love that. So Ashaala, as a renowned vocal health and performance coach, which by the way, I didn't know that these were actual skill sets before I met you. So thanks for enlightening me.
Yes.
But what are some key techniques or exercises you can recommend for aspiring vocalists to maintain their vocal health and to enhance their performance skills?
Absolutely. There's some basic ones, not just for entertainers or singers, but even edutainers and speakers. Because I have clients like Neo now and David Shands and a couple of them. So because of that, one of the things that I always say, a couple regimens that I'll say, first of all, get a regimen, right? Going a vocal regimen, because we're vocal athletes. So at the end of the day, you need to stretch the muscle. You need to do warm-ups. There are basic warm-ups like lip trills, things like that doesn't require you to sing per se, but you can still use tonal inflections in your voice to do that, and anyone can do it. Tongue trills is the same thing. Also, to making sure that you cool down after you finish speaking or singing, drinking lots of water, because what happens is a lot of people think that when you drink a bottle of water, a cup of water, that it touches the vocal cords. It doesn't. The only thing that touches the vocal cords is air that goes through that trachea, that windpipe that goes down into the lungs. So you would have to, let's say you're speaking all day, you're doing masterminds, you're doing podcasts, you're talking on stages, you need to be hydrating your body at least with a minimum of 2 liters of water daily, or half your body weight in fluid ounces, in order for your body to naturally create watery mucus that hydrates the folds. So I would tell any entertainer, any speaker to hydrate, have a warm-up regimen, and also get a vocal coach. And the reason why I say that is because, not because a person can play ball means that they're ready for the NBA playoffs.
Right.
And what happens is, I've heard people have this misnomer or this myth that says, well, you don't need a vocal health coach to speak, or you don't need a vocal health coach to sing. That's not true. You may be a natural talent, but if you're going to propel to the next level, there are certain fundamentals that you need to know, like learning how to breathe correctly. Diction.
That breathing is important.
Yeah.
And I think that I recall years ago, maybe before the pandemic, when I would speak and I would hear back my speaking, you could tell that my breathing was just off.
Yeah.
And I learned meditation during the pandemic, and I've seen how meditation has helped me with my breathing and how I can even swim better and hold my breath, not out of breath. So you're right about that.
Yeah, and breathing also helps you make sure that you don't strain your voice. It helps you to not be vocally fatigued really fast. It allows you to project. So let's say you're speaking on stage and the mic goes out. If you know how to actually strengthen those lungs and a diaphragm, it will strengthen your vocal cords, so where you don't have to feel like you're yelling or screaming. So breath control and breath management has a lot of great properties. And I would tell any speaker, any entertainer to really learn how to use breath to voice ratio so that you know how to really have sustainability and better sound quality. So I would say those are the 3 basic things that don't require so much work that I would tell somebody immediately to do, or the 3 or 4. Make sure that you are getting diction, breathing techniques. Make sure that you are doing warm-ups. Make sure that you are hydrating. Make sure that you have someone that can consult you, a professional, to know more about your actual mechanism, because it is a wealth generating asset.
I feel like you are like a rare breed in the industry. I can't say that I can point to another vocal coach besides, like, if I was maybe in a choir or something, right? And you have the director, and we are professional singers, and this is travel, and this is what we do. But like outside of that, as a speaker,
it's interesting because I had someone interview me yesterday, and they were asking me, like, why do people have this misconception of vocal coaches to be for singers? And I said, I think that's the reason why I'm here, is to change the narrative of how you see vocal coach. A vocal coach is exactly what it is. It coaches the vocals. It didn't say for who, anyone's vocals. But for me, that's the reason why my company is called Vocal Wall Street, because I wanted to teach people 4 things: how to maintain the voice, how to manage the voice, how to maximize the voice, and then monetize the voice.
I know that.
Exactly.
I know that about you.
So at first you have to learn how to maintain and manage it so that you can maximize and monetize it. And so I'm changing the trajectory of how people are seeing things at this point.
I love that.
Yeah.
In your profession, have you worked with reporters? Are they using vocal coaches from your information?
Wow, believe it or not, I have not worked with a reporter. I've worked more with people that are red carpet correspondents.
Got you.
I've worked with people that are doing podcasting, a lot of podcasters. I've dealt with people that are YouTubers now, people that do masterminds, they're speaking on stages, they're coaches, but I don't think I've worked with anyone yet that's a reporter.
Maybe that can open up another lane of opportunity for you, because you can get hired by the network.
Absolutely.
Just give me my 20%.
We could do a finder's fee. Find them for me and we got it. We'll work it.
I'm talking to a 7-figure right here. She's going to correct me before I walk out of here with a whole idea. So thank you. That was great information.
Let me go. Just let me grow. Don't smother my potential. Let me be what I was.
Introducing the Women Speak Show, produced by Women in Media Global. Join us every Sunday at 10 a.m. on Video Mix TV for entertaining and empowering stories, insightful interviews, and inspiring content hosted by Danielle P. Tune in and elevate your journey with us.
Chasing and I keep on embracing.
So with your success in generating over 7 figures in revenue through Vocal Wall Street, can you share some essential strategies or tips for creatives and entrepreneurs on how they can effectively monetize their talents and build a sustainable business in entertainment?
First thing I'll start off with is mindset. I think one of the biggest things, and you use the word creative. Creative is anyone that comes up with an idea, that puts it, and a lot of times people think that creatives can't make money. But I think
that is a mindset
thing.
It's
a mindset thing. And so one of the biggest things that I would say to any creative that's watching this is, listen, no. In order for you to know that you can monetize your creativity, you have to know that your creativity was given to you. It was a God-given gift given to you so that you can be able to not only have a lifestyle of purpose, but also be able to have a lifestyle where you can be sustained even financially. So you have to believe that you can, you shall, you will. Because if you don't believe that your creativity actually can do things and create change for people, impact, influence, and income, then it doesn't matter what business strategies I give. It starts with the mind first.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would say is find out what are the ways that people need you. In my creativity, what do I do that can solve a problem and fill a need? As long as you can solve a problem and fill a need, you will be monetized. You will literally have people wanting to know what you do. And then I would say the third thing, similar to mindset, is that there are 3 levels of a client or an avatar. There are people that don't know they have a problem and they're not looking for you to solve it. There are people that know they have a problem, but they're not looking for you to solve it because you have not let it be known that you can solve it. And then the third variation are the people that know they have a problem and they're looking for you to solve it. It is your responsibility to know, how do I reach all 3 of them?
Wow, that's a gem.
Right?
So do you want to do some like coaching strategy right now? Put you in the hot seat, unscripted. So a little bit about me, right? Because first I want to say that you hit it on the head with the mindset thing.
Yeah.
And for me, it just kind of sparked, like, God put talents in you when you were even consumed in your mother's womb, when you were creating your mother's womb, which means that he gave you the ability to be successful by you having these skills. And I think because we live in a Western society where we are told to go to school and get a job, as a creative, we have creative opportunities that are non-traditional routes to building a career. That's not really groomed in everyday school, everyday college. So you have to seek out that information. But I love that you touched on that. And it was just like, all the creatives out here, you were already given your
the wealth is already in you.
Yeah.
The wealth is already in you. So now it's time for you to find reliable resources and reliable people to show you how to grow and how to unlock that creativity. It's not the fact that you can't, it's the fact that you don't have information to know that you can.
Yes. And so Vocal Wall Street has what you need.
Absolutely. We have a lot of different variations. I have about 4 divisions of my company, but the whole goal is just really making sure to let people know that no. If you have a literal voice, you can take that literal voice and then also plug into the figurative, your reason for being. Like Danielle, I'll ask you, what's your reason for being? Why are you here? When you get up every day,
it's time to go.
Why?
This is it. This is my moment. Okay, what I really want is to follow what God has for me. I want to do what he has called me to do. I want to utilize all of the resources, my gifts, to do exactly what God's plan is for me. That's what I want to do.
So you're not a period, you're a comma.
I'm a comma.
And I think that's another thing too. Lots of times when people say, oh, vocal coach, they try to period me. And I'm like, no. I'm a businesswoman and I am that happens to be a vocal coach and a thought leader.
You're a singer-songwriter?
I'm a singer-songwriter. I've had a co-publishing deal with Universal for many years. I've written over 500 songs. I get residuals from rap songs, NBA Y2K. I've written on those. I've done a lot. So I'm not a period, I'm a comma. And I think that's with the mindset too. Like, don't let anyone keep you in a box.
There's no box.
Now the thing is that who can be the people to help me learn how to consolidate that or organize it and then show me how to fertilize it and show me how to grow it.
I need Vocal Wall Street. I'm gonna figure out my sign up and what I need to do, go through, my sales call and all of that. But, I wanted to ask you to just give me some coaching strategy right now. As a comma, I have so many gifts and talent. You might not know. So I have a degree in theater art, modern jazz dancer. I've done musical theater. So that means I can hold a tune in the chorus. I can act. As you can see, I'm here acting the fool. And I'm a speaker. I dance. I could do spoken word. God gave that to me during the pandemic. So as a performer, I can get on stage stage and entertain you and perform and hold the crowd. I can do choreography. I can teach dance. I can solo. I can freestyle.
Yeah.
Freestyle is really my gift. And I'm a great speaker. I can moderate. I can keynote. So what do I do all this?
Yeah.
Because I'm not monetizing half of this. You know, my business acumen, all those things were added on to me. The PR, the marketing, the branding, and things of that sort. But when it comes to these gifts that God has given me, I've used them, but I don't fully monetize.
You need to compartmentalize. So think about an organization chart and think about who's at the head of your organization chart. If somebody were to come in, you're the CEO. The CEO is the visionary. The CEO should not be the implementer. There's a difference. So with the CEO being the visionary, then you have your implementer, who's going to be the person to run with your vision. Habakkuk says, you know, he that writes the vision, make it plain. He that reads it shall run with it, right?
That's in there?
Habakkuk 2 and 3.
We got to keep reading.
The word of God says, write the vision and make it plain, that he that reads it shall run with it. And though the vision may tarry, it's not going to be denied. It's not going to be delayed. So that's Habakkuk 2 and 3, right? So because of that, for you, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to let yourself know that you are not a solopreneur and you are not a small business owner. You're a CEO. There's a difference. Once you start seeing yourself as a CEO, then you start to look visually at what that org chart looks like. So for you, what I'm hearing right now is you have a couple divisions of your company. You have a personal brands division. The personal brands division is Danielle Jeter, the creative, Danielle Jeter, the dancer, the choreographer, anything to do with you and your creativity and the degree that you receive, that passion. That's the first passion you had. Then you also have with that, the expert within that personal brand. But then also too, you have to ask yourself, the people that need me, for example, you help people in PR. So because the people that need you, then you have to remove yourself from that so that you can leave room to work their personal brand, which means that you need to automate. You need to now scale that aspect of it and then
scale the PR aspect,
get more staffing there. So it frees you up to be not only the visionary, but it frees you up now to be the creative. And then you have to ask yourself, what parts of me in my creativity requires me to be in it? What parts of me as a dancer, as a this requires me to be in it? Is it me just doing it? Or is there something that people can receive or get even if I'm not there? So those are things that we would have to look at.
Like something that is filmed?
It could be something that's filmed. So for example, if a person can't afford you, and I've seen this happen, where if a person can't afford you to be there live, there are times when you can actually do a filmed performance and they can play it. Like things like that happen all the time.
Like Beyonce when she like streamed into like
the Exactly. Grammys. Things like that happen all the time. Like pre-recorded shows, pre-recorded things like that happen. So don't limit yourself to those kind of things. But to me, I think you have about 3 divisions of your company. You have the personal brands division. Now you have to find somebody to work that for you, to get to be able to manage that, organize that for you. You have a digital division. The digital division is, how do I want to teach others, like how you have a digital product? How do I want to teach others of how to be their own PR if they don't have the budget? And then how can you know how to, here's the transcripts, here's the scripts, the email templates, all those different things that you can go and write to these news people to try to get publications. And then you have a mentorship division. And the mentorship division are the people that want to be a Danielle, the expert teaching others how to be experts, and they want more proximity. So those are like the 3 divisions. So now you have to now be able to see who can I bring in, either if it's going to be fractional to come in or outsource it to run that division, run this division, run that division. And then who am I going to put above it? Maybe an ops manager, director of operations. And then now it frees you to be the CEO.
Well, thank you. Wasn't this great, guys? You know, helping me take this out of my head and conceptualize an idea that I can.
But then also too, you need to ask yourself really quickly, who needs me in this season? What am I birthing in this season? Because for you as a theater major and for you, for all of that, that may not be a baby, that may be a teenager. So you have to ask yourself, how much attention do I want to give the teenager? Or should I have a babysitter or somebody that's a guardian over it? So you have to kind of see your talent as what development stage is it in and how much time can I give to it? If you know the PR is the baby or the toddler right now, that you need to breastfeed, you need to do that. And then hire a babysitter, a manager over it, then that's how you have to see it. And that's what I had to do too, because being a comma is everything. You see, but you have to also ask yourself, who needs me in this season and where does my attention need to go in this season?
See, make sure y'all sign up for Vocal Wall Street. Okay, y'all can get the same level of information and strategy. And there's so many women, women in media, women in entertainment. A lot of us are commas.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are just like you and I who are tuned in. So I know that this is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
So you have expertise again in vocal health, performance, voice monetization. Can you share some insights on your specialized skills and how these have opened up opportunities for you in the media industry? And then how can these skills be leveraged to carve out women who are listening, maybe their own niche?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it or not, some of the places in the rooms that I've got into is because of relationships, right? One of the things I started, most of my 20s, I was a background singer, right? I toured with a lot of different artists and stuff like that. And I realized when I was in those rooms, any rooms that I was in that was at arm's length with celebrities or people that I know can be the bridge or the door, I never pushed myself up on them. But I always said, God, if it's meant for us to connect, you're going to make the way for us to connect. Wow. Even with Yolanda, right? Yolanda's always said to me, call me anytime you want to. You know, we know Yolanda is
You got her number in your phone?
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, she's like a mentor to
Yolanda.
me. So I've toured with Yolanda since I was 24 years old.
Wow.
Right? So Yolanda has really been a person that I can call up anytime I text, anything like that, but I just never took advantage of it. Still to this day. I've learned to be familiar with people without having familiarity. And so one of the things that I tell people all the time when people are saying, well, how do you know how to get into these rooms or connect with people, right? With your skill sets. I always say it's very important for you to know that your gift will make room for you. You don't have to force it. When the word of God says your gift will make room for you, that's what it means. Your gift will make room for you, yes, where it's going to open up doors, but it will make room for you. So sometimes it's not the season for you to push yourself up on people and be an opportunist. For those people that may be in rooms now, how do you maximize that room? How do you get a chance to get with the Rick Rosses? Sometimes you have to invest in your next.
You got all the, like, you got the lines of Shayla.
No, it's true. You have to invest in your next. Like, for example, with Rick Ross, I had a strategy, and I'm probably giving some game right now, but I had a strategy to not work with Rick Ross. I had a strategy to partner with Rick Ross's businesses. I'm thinking eager. Exactly. So what do I need to do to position myself in a place where I now can be able to have access to his network? I had to pay to get in that room, $25,000 to be exact. The mastermind that only accepted 20 people. But then in that, Rick Ross opened up himself to partner with everybody.
20,000?
25K.
25K.
To be in the room
and
for 3 days.
he wanted that in full.
You have to pay it in full.
See,
wire transfer. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
25K wire transfer. Okay.
Come on, Ricky.
But that door opened up so many other doors for me.
So it worked out.
Absolutely, because in a few months after that, I was now speaking at the NFL alumni for NFL weekend, for Super Bowl weekend. I've been able to meet so many people that I've created these bigger opportunities, and we've made a lot of money together.
Like who?
As a result of I can't call everybody's name.
Somebody,
but like, for example, I have one young lady who was in the room. You would never know, but she's worth $20 million. You would never know that. Her and I connected on some things that are even beyond just music. I have people now that I went into real estate deals with. Sometimes
so
those
you
doors.
made that $25K investment back.
Absolutely.
So I love masterminds, and that is the idea that you should go in when you are investing in a room. No. This is not a ticket. This is not a fee.
Yeah.
You are investing, which means that you're going to make the money back.
Yeah.
So talk to people who don't know about masterminds, never invested, because you've also been a part of Nehemiah's.
Oh yeah.
Things of that sort. Just give them some tidbit.
I'm going to give you some game.
Yeah.
All right. So for anyone that really wants to know how to really get to the next, first things first, when you do go to masterminds, find out first, what are the masterminds in your local city? What are the masterminds in your local state? What are the masterminds right now that you can actually get access to a room? And you can get access to a room in a couple ways. You can either be a vendor, which places you in front of everybody because they're coming around the exhibition room.
You mean like I can have a table with my merch? Okay.
With your merch or your product, your offer, but also understand who are my ideal avatar, who's the ideal client in that room. But also here's a hack. Whenever you go to masterminds, never go in general. Always go with the highest ticket, because the highest ticket is where the networking really is. People pay for proximity. When you pay for proximity, proximity pays you. So at the end of the day, whenever I go into rooms, I always get diamond, I always get VIP or platinum. Why? Because I know that's the people that's going to want to talk business. That's the people that maybe they may not be a client, but they may want to be a partner.
But what if I can't afford to go as diamond? Do I not go?
No, you still go.
Okay.
You still go, but there's still a strategy. When you go, you still have to look to see who are, so that because there's a time
where everybody will be together.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's a time when there's a breakout. So still observe the room. See who's sitting in VIP. See who's sitting in platinum. See who's sitting in diamond. And when it's time for a break, Everybody's talking in that's the good news about masterminds, is that you do have proximity at times during breaks. That's the time when you go and you introduce yourself, because if you don't introduce yourself, nobody's going to know who you are. The second strategy that I do is when I get into rooms, I always bring a closer with me.
Like a second person walking with you. Who's your closer?
I have a couple female closers.
What's up? Put me in the team.
If you want to make a bag, let's do it. But no, that's a strategy. When you're like, when I'm when I'm in high level rooms that I know, like 6, 7, and 8 figure rooms, I always bring one of my closers with me, and it's normally going to be a female. Why? Because female closers are much more trustworthy, authentic, they're not salesy, and they're not going to push over on you like that. That's
a gem I ain't never heard.
That's a gem. So, especially for a high ticket, it's a gem.
Can you envision, or have you even heard of like a women in media mastermind?
I have not seen a mastermind of it, no.
Can you envision something like that?
Absolutely. So amateurs make money on the front end, but experts make money on the back end, and definitely money can be made.
Okay, I have a proposition. Wow, okay. So, this has been amazing. We're not done yet. But thank you. You have any more mastermind gems?
I'm going to keep it right there.
You get right there, okay.
You're gonna have to pay me for the rest of them.
Go to Wall Street. Make sure y'all go to the website.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about future trends. Where do you see women in media and like our industry and how we should stay ahead?
One of the things I love about women entrepreneurs, and especially Black women entrepreneurs, we are up 400%. Like, we are doing the darn thing. A lot of us Black women within itself have more degrees than men put together at this point. We're starting businesses. We are obviously, in Black homes, 7 out of 10 homes are absentee fathers. So a lot of women have to be the providers. It's not because we want to be, it's because we have no choice.
Have to do what we got to do.
Right, we have to do what we have to do. I saw my mom do it, my grandma do it, my grandmother's mothers do it. And so because of that, I think it's a great time for women in media. What I would like to see is the wholesomeness come back to it, because I've seen that a lot of, especially even when it comes to like the weather girl, I've noticed that the weather girls have to dress a certain type of way, or even the women in media, they have to look a certain type of way in order to get respect. But I love people like the Angela Yees. I love the people like there was another young lady I was going to call who don't have to dress a certain type of way or look a certain type of way. They've gotten the respect. Now, not all women have gotten that, but whether it's news, whether it's red carpet, whether it's
just that freedom of authenticity and expression.
Absolutely. Like, your hair doesn't have to be a way. Your skin color doesn't have to be a way. I would love to see that more, but I think we're up. I think women in media, they're up.
You definitely do nowadays. There's been more noise around that, more advocacy. So you see natural hair now on the local news. And you see more brown skinned girls, dark brown skinned girls doing their thing. So shout outs to everybody who's doing it, who's pushing the needle, and who's just making sure that we're seen. How do you view the current state of opportunities for women in media, and what steps are needed for further empowerment?
I think one of the biggest things, and I was going to say this, is I would like to see a lot more, some of the steps like you said, doing a mastermind and seeing a lot of women in media come together. And when I say come together, it's very similar to how we did our 8-figure mastermind in Atlanta. There were no cameras. We're just like, hey girl, how can I help you? What have you been struggling with? What's going on with you? I think we need to have a dialogue around what's happening in media, because there are a lot of women right now that can advance because they're a woman, and they can't advance because of their skin color, and they can't advance because there's only one Black woman that can actually make that top spot. And so it's just like Hollywood, Black Hollywood.
We can come together and talk about how can we make sure we break those glass ceilings, break these doors down, and then even how can we pull ourselves together, just start our own thing. Like, forget about this major network. We are the network. Let's just invest together and buy the network.
What about a women in media global fund? That would be a step, because now you can say, no, we'll start our own network.
We're going to start our own, or we're going to buy yours.
And we're going to buy, and we can acquire. Exactly. I would like to see more women doing that.
I would love to see that. If y'all want to see that, y'all want to be a part of that, drop a comment, let us know your feedback on that, and we'll make sure that you are a part of the conversation as we continue to come up with the ideas of how to maybe move this forward.
And the reason why I say that is because of what happened in recent news, with the fact that the courts literally blocked the Fearless Fund from actually giving monies to Black women-led businesses. That's going to create discrimination. It's going to create even more noise.
That's wild.
it's going to create even more noise for women to even say nope. Because, you know, Black women, we are resilient. And when you tell us no, if you tell us no, we're going to find a yes somewhere. And so I believe because of that literally is going to catapult a whole revolution for women in media, women in business, women in the amounts of influence. It is. And even with the young lady that trademarked the blonde bad, what is the thing? The trademark she was in Congress, and she was talking to the white lady, and she was like
that clip,
exactly.
Yeah. It was like TikTok, wasn't it?
It was TikTok, but I mean, she trademarked it.
Yeah.
It was like a blonde beach built butch body, something kind of thing like that. That was kind of like, no, I'm a Black woman, I'm educated, I have degrees, and yet you're still trying to silence me, or you're still trying to discredit me.
Still trying.
And I think that's the reason why us women in media right now, the step for the future is to collab, create funds where we can get our own monies, acquire networks,
I would love
acquire
to acquire
businesses,
networks
and collab. That's the play. That's the move.
Be on that Byron Allen move.
Because we're seeing Black men do it, but where are the Black women outside of the Kathy Hughes and stuff like that?
Oprah, you know,
and the
she's
Oprah
thing, but she, you know.
Well, Oprah really was the apostle of it. Because
she's like she's
the apostle. Apostle Oprah. She was apostolic in that thing. She was like, listen, I'm about to have my own network, literally.
Yeah.
You know,
and she bust her butt for it, you know, and she is our example. And now it's just like, there's nothing we can't do now that we've seen somebody do it. Who's now a billionaire, you know. And I love this industry, entertainment and media, because this is one of the industries where you can become a billionaire. Like when you look at the billionaire list, the top industry is entertainment, media, tech. That's where the billions are. So women in media, y'all keep doing your thing. Keep pushing forward. Whatever the goal is, whatever the vision is, don't stop. It is a very unorthodox, untraditional path in media, but the opportunity is there. And
not only that, there are investors willing to invest in women in media that have their own tech companies, their own media companies. There's money there.
There's money
that
there.
We're not tapping into.
Yeah.
And I would say even take advantage of, you know, like getting these investors and like I say, the fund management, because at the end of the day, there's so many people that just like take my money, but who do we want to give our money to?
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of women that just feel like I can't. But I think this is a time where it's time for us to step up to be like, no, I can, I shall, I will.
Maybe that could be a part of the mastermind where we're bringing those investors and these tech and media ideas together to commingle, create more opportunities, some collabs, we could do this all day. And now we masterminding on the show.
And I see InvestFest is about to give $100K grant at their
upcoming event.
I would like to see more women in media pitch. And so I know I'm going to be at InvestFest. I have a 20 by 20 booth this year.
I'll be there.
And we're going to be teaching people how to pitch live on the spot.
Oh,
right?
That's awesome.
Yep, at my booth.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so I want to hear from you. We have a segment called Wise Words Learned from Women. So tell me, you know, a piece of advice or, you know, a wise word that you learned from a woman, and who was she?
This is from my grandmother, the late Ruth Helmina Gordon Vinzen. And I'm going to say it in my broken English because my mother's side of the family is from Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. But there's a saying that my grandmother used to say all the time: when you don't have mommy, suck granny. When you don't have mommy, suck granny. Now, visually, that may look like what? Meaning like if you don't have your mom, go on your grandmother's breast. But what that means and translates in our dialect, or what it means is like when you don't have lemon, you know, when you have lemon, make lemonade, it's very similar to that. And I always think about that even if something knocks me down and I don't have the resources right now, I'm going to utilize what I have. Right? And so I always keep that. When you don't have mommy, suck granny, meaning that you're going to use what you got. And that's my wise word from a woman.
I love that. Well, thank you, Granny, for that.
Yes.
And before we get out of here, is there any last words you want to say? Anything you want to share that we haven't touched on?
Yeah. I just want to look, and I do this every single time. I just want to look, I'm going to look at this camera right here, and I want to speak to every female creative, every female thought leader, or even if you're not female and you're watching this, right, male, I want you to know that you are enough. And the reason why I say that is because that statement within itself, I want you to say that with me. Say, I am enough. Say it again. Say, I am enough. You know the reason why I have you saying that? Because every limiting belief, every word curse, anything that someone has said to you previously to this statement today cancels what was said before. So now you have to now be able to sit in that and believe it. It's not the fact that it's not true. true. It's the fact that there's a difference between reality and truth. The reality is it may have been said to you that you probably wouldn't be anything, the business wouldn't grow, the dream wouldn't happen, but the truth is you are enough. And when you sit in that, it doesn't matter what anyone says to you. That within itself will take you to where you need to go. So I want you to write it down, put it on your mirror. I am enough. Because there's one side of imposter syndrome that says, what if I fail? What if I'm a fake? But there's another side of imposter syndrome that says, but what if I'm not given enough? So I want you to know that what you have is enough. Stop questioning it. Now it's time to say, how do I take that enough? And now make sure that I optimize it so that when I leave this earth poured out with no regrets.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for preacher, minister, apostle. It's coming up next. I think I told you that before. I see it in you.
Yes.
You better preach. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was great.
For being on the episode.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah, man. It was great.
And let everybody know how they can support you, how they can sign up to do business with you, join your programs.
So you can reach out to me on all social media at Ashaala Shanae, ASHAALA SHANAE. Also, Vocal Wall Street, VOCALWALLSTREET. That's on all social media platforms. And also my website is AshaaLaShanae.com and vocalwallstreet.com. All right, so you can find me there.
Awesome. This is Women in Media, and we have spoken. Till next time.